Creeping on the corner with a 211 in my mind, persuaded by the devil, gripping on my black plastic knife, searching for a lick that I can hit with murder in my soul, swinging bending corners in the 67 Elko.
Among the many powers that we've seen in One Piece, the voice of all things remains to be the strangest and most mysterious of them all. At the same time, the voice of all things is one of the most crucial abilities that a pirate must possess if they are to find the One Piece. Among all the powers in the masterpiece that is One Piece, the voice of all things is, without a doubt, the rarest of them all. Here are 10 things that you didn't know about the voice of all things in the series. Its debut. The voice of all things is an ability that is gaining importance as the series progresses. Although some believe this power was introduced long way into the series, that's not quite right. Surprisingly, Eiichiro Oda made sure to show off the voice of all things right in the first few chapters of the series, like Haki. In the case of this ability, its first appearance came back in Chapter 13 of the One Piece manga. When it comes to the anime, this power was introduced in the 6th episode, which just goes to show how Oda has planned this, just like many other things, in advance. The first person to use it. It goes without saying that the voice of all things is a rare ability. So far, only a handful of people are confirmed to be its users. The first person to use it in the series is none other than the protagonist, Monkey D. Luffy. During Chow Chow's fight against Richie in Orange Town, Luffy displayed its usage when he figured out the events that had taken place and led to the burning of the Chow Chow's treasure. Although not confirmed by Oda, it is, more likely than not, the debut of Voice of All Things. What it does. The voice of all things comes in quite handy in case the user is looking for the One Piece, and it is extremely difficult for one to reach Raftel without its usage. The voice of all things allows the user to hear and understand the voice of animals and inanimate objects. It was used extensively for Gold D. Roger on his journey to Laugh Tale. According to Silver's Rayleigh, Roger was able to hear the Poneglyphs, and that's how he figured out their location and a gist of what they said. Differentiation from reading Poneglyphs. Often, it is assumed that since Luffy has the voice of all things, that belittles Robin's role on the crew. This couldn't be further from the truth, since understanding the ancient language and hearing the Poneglyphs are two very different things. Just as Rayleigh mentioned at Sabaody Archipelago, Roger could only hear the voice of the Poneglyphs and get a rough idea of what it said. The description would still have to be provided by another person. In Luffy's case, that person is Nico Robin. Its users. The voice of all things remains to be the rarest of all the abilities revealed in One Piece to date, even rarer than Conqueror's Haki, which is said to be wielded by 1 in a million. Voice of all things has a total of just 4 confirmed users to date. These include Monkey D. Luffy, Gold D. Roger, Kazuki Oden, and Kazuki Momonosuke. There is also a specific power that allow the people of a certain tribe use this power, but Pudding remains to be the only known person from that tribe, making the exact figure unquantifiable. The connection to Three-Eyed Tribe. As mentioned above, a bunch of people who belong to the Three-Eyed Tribe are said to carry the ability of the voice of all things. This was confirmed by Charlotte Linlin during the Whole Cake Island arc of One Piece when she spoke to her daughter, Pudding, about this ability. Although Pudding is not a full-blooded member of this tribe, she still has a chance of awakening the said power, which is basically what Big Mom is banking her chances of getting to Laugh Tale on. Other than Pudding, no other member of this tribe has been seen in the series. The Promise. Just like every other ability in One Piece, the voice of all things carries great significance. Not only does it allow a user to understand inanimate objects and animals, but it also grants them the ability to command others, and in doing so, fulfill some sort of promise. In case of Momonosuke, he's able to use the voice of all things to command Zunisha, a humongous elephant on the back of which the island of Zou exists. Roger, Oden, and even Luffy weren't able to command Zunisha. This ability was specific to Momonosuke and likely relates to some sort of promise that was made with Zunisha long ago in the Void Century. The Mermaid Princess, Shirahoshi. Just like Kazuki Momonosuke, Shirahoshi, the mermaid princess of Fishman Island, is also likely one of the users of the voice of all things. Although this isn't confirmed yet, it is highly likely to be the case, as just like Luffy, Shirahoshi is able to hear the voice of the Sea Kings. Akin to Momonosuke, Shirahoshi showed that she had the ability to command the beasts as well, which is something that Luffy couldn't do at the time. Whether this was down to her being Poseidon, or if Poseidon is actually someone born with this special voice of all things, remains to be seen. The connection to Observation Haki. Observation Haki is an ability that everyone can awaken, but it is possible that the voice of all things is an advanced level of this power that only few are born with. This is likely because of the fact that much of its skills are based on understanding things such as objects, or animals in other cases. This is very similar to the basic level of Observation Haki, which allows users to understand the intent of others, or even understand their feelings. Although this hasn't been confirmed by Oda himself, it is widely believed in the community and is likely true. The full extent of this ability. The full extent of this ability hasn't been seen in One Piece so far. Although Roger and Odin could use it pretty well, they weren't able to communicate with the voices they heard, for one reason or the other. Others, like Momonosuke and Shirahoshi, displayed this ability, which leads fans to believe that there's a level of voice of all things that we haven't seen yet. With time, it is possible that Monkey D. Luffy will reveal what it truly is capable of.